people are always there. It's knowing that I can, I can go to people. It's knowing that, I do have resources, in the, I guess in the community, and that, again, was sort of the biggest drug, like the biggest hook of them all, to be able to do that. Celebrity, and I put that word up there with great hesitation, and I added as many, quotes and question marks as possible, because people call me an internet celebrity, and it's weird because it's one of those things that people who know me think that everybody knows me, and it's kind of like something like Slashdot. Like, not like I'm anywhere near as big as Slashdot, but if I tried to say something about Slashdot to like my dad, they'd be like, "What? But it's Slashdot. What do you mean? How do you not know that? And how do you explain that to somebody?" But people who do know think that everybody else knows, and that's the way I find it is about. Like I have been recognized a few times and have things like that, and they're always this. It's always like, "Oh, doesn't this happen to you often?" And I'm, no, it doesn't happen to me often. There's like 0.001% of the population, probably less than that, knows I exist. So, but it has, it has been great, and it's allowed me to do things like this, like be here speaking right now, and coming to Cleveland is totally cool. And this would obviously have never happened without the site. And and releasing the album, and I've been on tech TV a few times, and in the media, and going to stuff like that. It's all these cool things that had never happened, and this has really been my first time speaking somewhere. And I'll stop doing that eventually. This has been really my first time doing something like this, and it was funny because about a week before Froggy emailed me asking me to speak, I was actually telling somebody. I was kind of thinking about my career path and future and stuff. I'm like, what I really want to do is be like this, and I want to run my site and do sort of some side work and do all this stuff, and then maybe I'll write a book, and maybe I'll go around speaking, and maybe I'll do all this, and then like days later I get invited to speak at this thing, and it was the coolest thing ever. So. Yeah, thank you. And it was like watching my dreams come true, right in front of me. So it is cool, and I know that. That's the kind of life that I've always felt that I wanted to live. Not be like a Britney Spears or something. That's a horrible example. But, not be like that. Not that kind of celebrity. But I always wanted to sort of I had these dreams of being a cult figure. Like I would always, I'd much rather, be remembered in some sense and all that, and really make a difference in the world. And, ever since I was a little kid, I've always told my dad that I'm going to own an island one day, and I'm still, I still swear I'm going to make good on that, and all these, these things like this that have always been a part of my dreams, and I never quite knew, how they were going to be fulfilled, but, this has sort of been, an interesting way, and I never dreamed that this would be the way that this would happen, but, this way of sharing my life has been very unexpected and very cool. But that's all I'm going to talk about that. I would love to leave lots of room for questions. So anybody ask me anything, and I have pins, as I said, to give away. I've got all these little pins. So any questions about community? Anything? Yeah.
What made you decide to take PHP?
It was really it wasn't something that I knew a lot about at the time in terms of running the back end, and it was just sort of, well, this one's really big, and it's got a lot of stuff already written for it, and there's this huge community for it. I mean, that was the main deciding factor at the time, and it's turned out pretty well. Like, I know that there, definitely have some issues about PHP Nuke, and my webmaster, is constantly like muttering, "I hate Nuke, I hate Nuke, I hate Nuke" under his breath. But I I mean, we were instant messaging back and forth a little while ago, and he said something about, I was coming up with some other crazy scheme that I wanted to do, and he started saying, like, that he was crying, and I told somebody else, and he's like, that's a good day when you make your developer cry. I'm like, I think I do that on a regular basis. But it was really just the mass, like just the amount of stuff that was available, the community that was around it, and the seamlessness of logins, stuff like that, so I can add on new stuff without having a new database, a new membership basis, stuff, things like that. There's so much available. So I'm sure there's other ones. Like, as I said, I do like Mambo. I have a couple of friends who've been working with it a lot lately, and they have all great things to say about it. But in hindsight, we've done so much work to what we've got already that it'll be a while before there's a complete overhaul again. And then it'll probably, I don't know if it'll be something custom or not, but be something totally new. So yeah. I'll give you a pin. What have we done with it? Well, just in terms of the layout, I'll skip back. There we go. In terms of the layout, in terms of a lot of stuff that we do, like, it's just, this is the this is the headlines for news articles right there. You know, the forums are PHPB plugged into Nuke, so again, it's syndicated back out. Like, this is not the way a PHP Nuke homepage usually looks. Some of the sections I can't click now. Like, if you go into some of the ones like the FAQ, the chat, a few things like that do look similar. I mean, they've got sort of a side menu and they've got that, but you know, and I also run, well, actually 3 installations, but really 2 installations of Nuke. The membership site is a whole other installation. So actually something that we're kind of working on right now is trying to get that completely integrated into each other, because I have people sign up for the membership site that don't have main site accounts, and then they're like, why can't I post in the forums? So you know, really trying to integrate it would have 2, because what happens is when like the cam portal, for example, is a PHP Nuke module, but it's the same one on both sites, on both Nuke installations, and there's a little bit of trickery that sort of has to go on for it to do that. So it's a little interesting. But yeah, this is actually a post. Oh no, was that from my? Oh, it's not. That was from a regular webcam earlier. I thought that was one of the mobile cams, because this actually has a little picture of the sort of the logo down there. But when I post from my phone, it's got a little cell phone icon at the bottom, so you can distinguish. Any questions? Yeah.
You say you're Canadian, but I've never heard you say a or a boot.
I'll say a boot, probably. He says I say a boot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have much of an accent. I'm sort of, you know, I'm from Toronto. I'm from the big city. It's not as bad as it is out on either side, but I do catch myself saying A once in a while. Oh, you're suspicious. I really am Canadian. I was actually born in northern Ontario, too, of all things, but I own a Chesterfield, and I eat poutine. And what else? And ketchup chips. Ketchup. It's ketchup. It's still ketchup. We have this weird hybrid of sort of the British and the, we just chose whichever ones we liked from each one. I don't really know the rhyme or reason to it, but yeah.
Taco Bell, what is the side order?
A side order?
Yeah. What is the side order you're giving the meal to Taco Bell?
Fries?
Yep.
Oh yeah, they don't have fries at Taco, or they didn't have fries at Taco Bell, did they?
No, we don't.
Yeah, they don't at all. At all, you don't have fries. Fries Supreme? You guys don't have Fries Supreme? Oh man, you guys are missing out. That's good stuff. You don't have Tim Hortons, I know. They're getting, it's creeping down. It's creeping down. They've got it in New York, but. Pardon? Is it in Michigan? Yeah. Yeah, New York does have it. I've seen it in New York. But it's actually owned by Wendy's now. It's kind of depressing. All these American companies buy up all the.
It's an Ohio company, Wendy's.
I totally don't know who was talking, and it's really freaky. Oh, okay, there. Sorry, it's an Ohio company.
Wendy's is based in Ohio, so it can't be completely depressed.
Oh, okay. I can't be doing. I won't.
So that's kind of depressing.
The beer store, yeah, the beer store. I'm not much of a beer fan, which is probably gonna get booed off the stage here, but yeah, the beer store. We've got our quirks. It's kind of great, and I get a lot. It's amazing to talk to so many people from so many different places, but and as you can imagine, I've met people from everywhere, and it's great when I go somewhere. Like when I came to Cleveland, I'm posting about going to Cleveland, and I get a couple of emails about people in Cleveland. It's really cool that you're coming here, and it's nice to have that feeling. I feel like anywhere I go, I know somebody, and it is cool to have like an actual conference like this where there's actually, you can actually kind of see and talk to people, which you kind of lose sense of after a while. But any other questions? Yeah.
I must have missed this part. How do you survive?
How do I survive?
Yeah. How do you make any money?
How do I make any money? Well, I'm a student. I'm a student full time. First of all, I mean, this isn't my full time job.
Still survive as a student. They give you money up in Canada to go to school.
No, they don't. But I work. I'm a co-op student, and I work. But the site isn't a big income. It's a bit of income from the. I don't know if you were here. The membership site. I do run a membership site too. So I mean, there's that, which isn't. I mean, I pay something. In expenses for the site, I pay about $500 a month. So it's not cheap to run it, but I make enough that at least it sort of makes my time a little bit worthwhile, and it's enough that I can go out and buy a sort of a phone for the purpose of the site, or a better digital camera and all that stuff like that. But I'm a student. I've got another year to go, and I don't really know where things are going to go after that. I don't foresee stopping the site, and for as long as I can imagine. But I never intend it to be a career replacement. It would be something as part of my life. So, yeah. Other questions? Yeah.
How do you deal with stalkers?
I make as much of my personal information as available as possible. I'm not joking when I say that. No, I'm serious. One thing that I did from the very beginning was I never hid any of my, my real name, where I lived, anything like that. And I honestly attribute that to my extreme lack of stalkers. I've never been, I don't know, I've never been an interesting target. Once in a while, I would get phone calls or something, especially in the early days. I would get phone calls saying, just saying, I found out your phone number. And I'm like, yeah, good for you. You can who is. You rock. Like, these people, like, there was no quest. There was no, amusement out of it. I honestly think that's a huge part of it. My name, like, in terms of my CD, it's my full name. My professionally speaking, I've always used my full name. And, I'm fully disclosed where I go to school, what I do, where I'm going, all that kind of stuff like that. As I said, I might draw that line at the GPS tracker thing. But I really think it's been the openness that's prevented that from happening. But I've had a few I don't quite call them stalkers, more in the line of very dedicated fans. That nothing really ever creepy came above it. It was more amusing and just you got to kind of back away and deal with these people. But nothing really ever harassing or creepy like that. The phone, I always hated people calling me, but anyway, yeah.
Well, this is a very, very personal question. If you have to do it, I apologize because I've been trying to learn this stuff.
Get back to work.
Well, from being a member of your site, I know that you have a very open relationship. You're very open with your sexuality, who you are. And for a lot of people, that's not the norm. And they're not used to that. They're not used to that level of openness in a relationship. What things do you do, or what is your mindset, or how do you communicate with your partners or your primary partner to make sure that that's okay and that everybody understands what's going on and that there's no sort of feelings or jealousy or anything like that. So it's a very personal.
Yeah, no, it is. But I mean, again, it's not really something I mind talking about. It's a really tricky balance, and it's been, it's taken us a lot of years, and I've been in a relationship with Steve, that guy sitting over there, for for about 7 years, and I would almost say that it's taken us most of that time to get it right, and to figure out exactly what works for us. And we do have a fairly open relationship, and he's a little camera shy, so there's that too. But I've just always been open about what I'm interested in, and I have some essays and some sort of opinion pieces and things like that, and I'm very open. And people will email me stuff. I've had people though, email me things saying, my girlfriend, I'm kind of interested, or I'm interested in bondage, but I don't know about my girlfriend. How do I help? How do I talk to her about it or whatever? And I'll write them back and I'll talk to them about it, and then I'll a good percentage of the time I'll get an email, again, a month from now saying, what, we're kind of trying this out and it's working, and, I'd just like to, thank you for your input. Same thing with the community, too. It's a topic that's come up more than a few times on the forums. And I always try to, provide my input where I can, but it's just not something I mind talking about. And I think that, shows itself in our relationship, too, because we talk to each other and, figure out what the boundaries are, and there are boundaries. People think I'm some kind of wild, crazy, hedonistic, to a certain degree, but there's a line, and I know we know where that is, and we've talked about it over the years. But it's taken a long time to get it right. People, saying we're thinking about having an open relationship or threesomes or this, or how do we do it right? This is not a conversation. This is not something that I can just tell you. This is not. There's no magic answer to it, but it's all about communication, and and I'm glad that I can provide a bit of an open forum. And we're such an open community. The only thing that we don't tolerate is lack of openness, really. And people have had on more than one occasion, people have said this is the place that they come to get away from sort of stupidity and closed-mindedness and all that. But again, it runs a huge range of people from lawyers down to whatever, a huge range of people. And if if you're not an ass or not a complete idiot, I'm willing to talk about pretty much anything, and that's the way I think most people feel in the community. So, yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Which part of your site has the most traffic or has expanded your community the most?
Expanded my community the most. The forums have really taken off. Like, it used to be to the point where there'd be a few new forum posts a day, and now it's like a few new forum posts an hour. Like, I can check the forums at any time and there's something new, which is really cool because it's gained this mass that doesn't even have anything to do with me. It's kind of like Froggy was saying about the conference. It's not about me anymore. It's really not. And that the forums have been a huge expansion. In terms of the most traffic, well, everybody likes photos, and you know, there's the photo gallery and the camcorder and all that. A lot of the traffic comes from the music too. You know, I'm